Melvin. Welcome again. We meet again, and I'm glad that you were able to round up your colleagues to stop by in our modest residence in Mukunda to discuss with me various issues concerning the upcoming senatorial elections, of which I am the head of the list for the SDF Southwest candidate. Thank you,
Prof.
Thank you for coming.
Prof, if I may ask you just basically questions for us to discuss about and to know why SDF is taking part in these senatorial elections. If we look previously, there were specific elections that SDF boycotted.
That's right.
Why are they having interest? What is peculiar about them in these senatorial elections?
Two reasons. The first you've made allusion to. After the boycott of 1992 as well as 1997 presidential election, the party took a solemn resolution that heretofore no elections in Cameroon will be boycotted by the party. Whether the elections are perceived to be good or bad, the SDF will always answer present. And so we are answering present to this election. And this one in particular, I can understand why there's much skepticism and why the question arises. How come the SDF is participating in this election? We would have hoped in the ideal system that the council elections will take place first, renew the mandate of the councillors, and then the senatorial elections will follow. But this is what the hand that fate has dealt us. The council elections are clearly going to come up after the senatorial elections.
So, Prof, in other words, if you look at the odds and if you look at the number of councillors which the CPDM have in the Southwest, for example, it is about 757.
Right.
Looking at SDF with 114.
What are the chances of succeeding?
Right.
If you reiterate the odds and you understand them clearly,
Yes.
what are the chances that the SDF has to succeed in these elections?
We don't believe decentralization is working as it is conceived. But we are going to offer you federalism, the highest form of decentralization. We believe if our proposal on redesigning the architecture of governance is accepted, it is not, as we present it in our constitution, we don't say it is perfect, we say it is subject to conversation amongst Cameroonians to make it better. We say our federalism, the highest form of decentralization, will succeed, we believe, in removing the option of secession from the table. It will improve on the decentralization that has been in the books for 22 years. And so this, for us, is a win-win situation. And we are saying we can't do it alone. Understand? We need a critical mass of SDF parliamentarians. In fact, let me put it this way. We need a critical mass of parliamentarians who are bold, who are courageous, who are not afraid to raise and confront this question of the architecture of governance. And what is it we are proposing? We are proposing a system of government that is spread out in 3 tiers. There's a federal government, there is a state government, and there is local government. And in the best principles of democracy, governments are defined in terms of well-defined powers and boundaries. So you have a federal government with its set of powers and its boundaries clearly defined, separate from state government, and state government separate from local government. And after all, it's the great American founding father, Madison, who said, if men were angels, then you would not need government. And if angels were to govern, then institutional checks and balances would not be necessary. So we know that this system of governance that we are proposing will be manned by human beings. So there will be tendency for the federal government to want to shift and encroach into the boundaries of the state, encroach on some of its jurisdictional powers. Same thing with the state. So you have a court system that will be there to supervise and ensure that people respect scrupulously their boundaries and their well-defined jurisdictional powers. So we are saying to the councillors who are going to vote us, this is what the SDF is proposing. We call it local governance. Local government. The powers are defined.
Be that as it may, we are going into these elections knowing fully well, that the odds are against us. We don't have any illusions. We've done our arithmetic. We've calculated, and we know you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know this, that the total number of councillors in the Southwest is 875. Of these 875, 757 are CPDM councillors. And the SDF has only 114 councillors. For the SDF to win an absolute majority in this election, it will have to pry loose from the CPDM 324 councillors. And we realize it's a tall order. It's not going to be an easy task, but we are persuaded that all things considered, we have a fighting chance, and that victory is possible even against the overwhelming odds that I've just described. And the reason why we are confident, that we have not embarked on a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think we have a message, and it's a message.
A specific message.
A specific message to the electorate.
CPDM.
Yes, an electorate that is overwhelmingly CPDM. You have an opportunity to make a fundamental difference, to contribute toward the resolution, a lasting resolution to this problem. And to do that, it's important that when you cast your ballot, and I should point out, councillors, your ballot paper in a democracy is your most prized possession. When you use it, we are asking you to use it wisely. We're asking you to elect persons who will be bold, courageous, to raise and confront the issues that we have been discussing for the last 2 years, and who will not be afraid to propose solutions, even if those solutions go against party instincts, party policy. We are saying when you cast that ballot, when you drop it in the box, it is only you and your conscience. And the question in front of you is, if I put this ballot here in favor of my list, will I be making the best use of my ballot in order to advance the interest of the overwhelming majority of Cameroonians? Will I be advancing the common good as opposed to the private good? I believe sincerely that you don't need to be lectured on your role and your responsibility, that you know and I know, and that in the end you'll decide in favor of the list that I am leading in the Southwest.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for that one. That's a strong message.
Okay.
And for those who are going to be voting on Sunday the 25th
Yes.
of March 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure
The
talking with you.
pleasure is ours.